The smell of motor oil and metal shavings still clung to my uniform as I pulled into my driveway after a grueling 12-hour shift at the shop. All I wanted was to see my baby, my 1967 Camaro SS, the car I'd spent 18 long months resurrecting from a rusted-out wreck into something flawless. I hit the garage remote. The door groaned upward, chrome gleaming under the lights, hugger orange paint so deep it looked like you could dive into it. That's when everything exploded. Thief. Someone call 911. He stole my car. Brenda, my HOA president neighbor, came charging across the lawn like a rabid pit bull, phone already glued to her ear. Yes, there's a black man stealing my car right this second. Send everyone. Sirens were wailing in the distance before I even had time to process what was happening. She called before she even crossed the street. I stood in my own driveway, keys in my hand, staring at my own car, about to be arrested for stealing it. What would you do if your neighbor weaponized the police against you on your own property? Drop a flag emoji below. Where are you watching from? Let's see how far this story travels. My name is Marcus Rodriguez, third-generation mechanic. My grandfather taught my father taught me, and our family has kept cars alive in this town for over 60 years. When my divorce finalized last spring, my ex decided grease under the fingernails wasn't sexy anymore. I used what little I had left to buy a modest house in Willowbrook Estates. Middle-class HOA neighborhood. Perfect lawns, matching mailboxes, everyone minds their own business. Or so the realtor promised. The Camaro wasn't a midlife crisis toy. I found her in an estate sale 18 months earlier. A corroded shell most people would have scrapped for $30. But I saw the muscle waiting underneath. $3,200 cash later, she was mine. Every weekend for a year and a half turned into resurrection. New 350 small block, rebuilt turbo 400 transmission, full suspension overhaul. The paint alone took 4 months of sanding, priming, and wet sanding until that hugger orange could blind a low-flying plane. I photographed every step for insurance, kept every receipt in a binder thicker than a phone book. The smell of fresh primer and metal shavings became my Saturday cologne. Then there was Brenda Wilson, the living embodiment of HOA nightmare fuel. Real estate agent. White BMW detailed more often than most people shower. Manicured nails that never touched real work. Highlighted hair that defied gravity. She'd appointed herself HOA president 3 years earlier, unopposed, because no one else wanted the job of neighborhood enforcer. Her weapon of choice, paperwork. Trash cans out 12 minutes past pickup. Fence posts 2 1/8 inches instead of exactly 2. Mailbox fonts not on the approved list. She once measured my grass with a ruler and cited me for exceeding 2.5 inches. 2 weeks before the garage door meltdown, she marched over while I was bleeding brake lines. The impact wrench apparently offended her. There's a noise ordinance. No power tools after 6 p.m. I stayed calm. Actually, city code allows hobby work until 9 p.m. Happy to show you the ordinance. Her smile turned to ice. We'll see about that. This kind of industrial activity affects property values. She said industrial activity, like I was cooking meth instead of restoring a piece of American history. The Saturday it all blew up started with her monthly pool party extravaganza. Mimosas, fake laughter drifting through my garage walls. Then her voice sliced through. Oh, that's my new Camaro. Just bought it from a classic dealer in Phoenix. $45,000, but totally worth it. Shipping next week. My wrench hit the floor. She was showing photos on her phone of a car identical to mine. That afternoon I needed brake fluid, so I fired up the Camaro and backed out. The 350 rumbled like thunder rolling through the neighborhood. When I returned an hour later, Brenda stood in her driveway, arms crossed, staring at my car like it personally insulted her. I nodded politely. She didn't blink. I'm convinced she spent that night convincing herself I'd stolen her car. By morning, she'd gone full Karen with a mission. 2 patrol cars screeched in, lights blazing. 4 officers jumped out like it was an armed robbery. Officer Rodriguez, 20-year veteran with kind eyes, approached first. Evening, sir. We received a report of a stolen vehicle at this address. I almost laughed. Stolen vehicle. Officer, this is my car. In my garage. In my house. That's like saying I stole my own refrigerator. Brenda materialized beside them. That's him. That's the thief. I bought that exact Camaro yesterday for $45,000. I took a breath, tasting exhaust and absurdity. My dad always said, documentation beats desperation. I pulled out my phone, opened a photo album I'd obsessively maintained. This car has been mine for 18 months. I rebuilt every bolt. Officer Rodriguez swiped through rust bucket to rolling chassis to painted perfection. That's some serious craftsmanship, he murmured. You do this professionally. Family business. Grandfather would have beaten me with a wrench for sloppy work. Brenda thrust printed photos at them, stock images from a dealer's site, no VIN, no paperwork. I wired the money yesterday. They're shipping it this week. The officers asked for receipts, bill of sale, wire transfers. Brenda improvised wildly. Meanwhile, I retrieved my 3-ring binder from the workbench. DMV registration, 18 months old, matching VIN, insurance with restoration photos for agreed value, and the original handwritten bill of sale from Eleanor Hutchinson, the 93-year-old widow who sold it to me. She made me promise to bring the finished car back to show her. Silence fell, so heavy I could hear a sprinkler 3 houses away. Rodriguez closed the binder. Ma'am, this gentleman has clear chain of ownership spanning over a year. Your evidence is internet printouts. Then the warning. Filing a false police report is a misdemeanor. People go to jail for that. Brenda's face drained white. There must be some terrible mistake. The stress of car shopping. As the officers left, I caught her staring through her window, cold, calculating. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. The next morning, a violation notice waited in my mailbox. Unauthorized commercial vehicle storage. My work van, Rodriguez Family Auto, painted on the side. Supposedly violated standards. $200 fine. 48-hour deadline. Brenda's signature at the bottom like a death warrant. I went to the courthouse on lunch. Discovered my van was bought in 2017, 3 years before the 2020 commercial vehicle ban. Grandfathered in. Untouchable. I drafted a response, attached proof, delivered it to the HOA office. The receptionist's eyes widened. Mrs. Wilson isn't going to like this. By Wednesday, 3 more notices, oil stains, I power wash monthly, excessive automotive odors, noise during legal hours, carpet bombing with paper. I installed 4 high-def cameras, cloud storage, night vision, caught her daily patrols, iPhone photos, measuring tape along the fence line. She turned neighbor watching into an Olympic event. Thursday's emergency board meeting notice arrived at 4 p.m. for 7 p.m. Barely legal, designed to catch me off guard. I showed up. 3 women, Brenda, nervous Clara, nodding Janet. Brenda announced an immediate ban on all automotive repair. $500 past violation fine. I pulled up the bylaws on my phone. Section 4. 3 requires 7 days notice for voting matters. Section 4. 7 requires quorum of 5. I count 3. This meeting has the legal weight of a book club. Clara turned shrimp pink. Brenda snapped. You think you're so smart coming into our neighborhood with your people and your activities. I stayed calm. I'm a homeowner who reads contracts. Novel concept. Later, neighbor Tom confided over coffee. Most of us think she's lost it. Tommy talked. Friday morning, code enforcement at my door, anonymous complaint about unlicensed commercial repair. Inspector Dave stepped into my garage, tension melting. This is cleaner than my shop. 0 evidence of business. You're golden. Off the record, I've been here 4 times this month. Same voice. Lady needs a new hobby. Then certified mail, Brenda complained to my insurance, claiming fire hazard. My agent Bill inspected, admired the Camaro, and sent her a cease and desist. Stop false claims or face fraud prosecution. Brenda discovered social media. Overnight, Willowbrook Neighborhood Watch group appeared. Photos of my van and garage veiled racist dog whistles about changing the character of the neighborhood. Comments erupted. Some defended me. Others shared Brenda horror stories. She started deleting dissent. Censorship lit the fuse. Sunday morning, 24 roofing nails scattered in my driveway. Cameras caught the 2 a.m. figure, distinctive Brenda quick-step march. Then the anonymous letter. Your kind doesn't belong here. Leave or face escalating consequences. Same paper stock as HOA notices. Detective Martinez. Anonymous threats plus racial element equals potential hate crime prosecution. We're building a case. Coffee shop coalition grew. Accountant Sarah, lawyer Mike, teacher Linda, contractor Carlos. We turned Tom's garage into mission control. Sarah's audit uncovered the truth. $112,000 embezzled over 3 years via fake companies at Brenda's address. Used for her divorce, legal fees. Pattern. Harass vulnerable owners, especially minorities, until they sell cheap. She pockets commissions and kickbacks. 3 families fled in the past year. Worse, Brenda's own house in foreclosure. $23,000 unpaid HOA dues to her own association. Foreclosure hearing in weeks. She wasn't just a Karen. She was desperate, cornered, and I was her last big commission opportunity. We built Operation Documentation Fortress. More cameras, standardized incident reports, airtight audit, election takeover plan, media outreach. Brenda unraveled fast. Bribery attempt, recorded. More false reports. Planted oil cans with Home Depot stickers, caught immediately. 2 a.m. Shredding spree at HOA office, arrested mid-act. Jail confession to Clara, hidden recorder, hidden cash, flight plan. Final audit, $112,000 stolen, $2, $800 per household. Neighborhood meeting, unanimous no confidence vote. Media descended. Channel 7 led with HOA president arrested in massive embezzlement scheme. Sentencing day, packed courtroom. Victim statements. Brenda's excuses. Judge, systematic abuse of trust, racial harassment, evidence destruction. 4 years prison, full restitution, 5 years probation. Brenda's house foreclosed, license revoked, reputation toxic. 6 months later, Willowbrook transformed. Transparent board. Community garden. Property values up 15%. Restitution checks arrived. Kids learned engines in my garage. Sarah and I started dating. The Camaro became a symbol. We didn't just beat a bully. We proved what happens when neighbors stand together. Document everything. Build community. Truth wins. Share your HOA nightmare in the comments. Your story might inspire the next fight back. Subscribe for more. Next week, Karen tries to steal a veteran service dog and learns about federal crimes the hard way. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Justice still works when ordinary people refuse to accept extraordinary nonsense.